Well, this is gonna be fun. Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4+, your favorite show starring your favorite host. Despite last week's brief pause, if you're following along, we've been going on a bit of a horror world tour. Our last stop was Korea, where we saw things. And this week we decided to go a bit out of our way and go back to Europe. Classified 363 called it pretty good because our next stop is indeed Romania. Romania is a country, to say the least. I can't really recall much media from there, but hey, life is a mystery, right? The first movie from Romania I am ever going to watch is known as Be My Cat, a film for Anne. The movie was directed by Adrian Tofay and was released in 2015 at the Fanasporto International Film Festival, before later being shown at the Transylvania International Film Festival. Funny enough, it was then later shown at the Dracula Film Festival in Romania, and then for all of 2016, this thing went on its conquest. It premiered at multiple festivals across the world, from Australia, Nashville, Austria, France, New York, Canada, Texas, the planet Mars. Like, seriously, where didn't this movie go? It was given a DVD release across Europe, and for the States has remained on streaming services like Amazon and Tubi. As for its critical status, it's gotten quite a high score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is the be-all end-all of movie reviews, or so the internet tells me. It is considered a cult film by many and has terrified many viewers. But enough gab. It's time to see what Romania has to offer for Anne as we get our cat food and milk. This is Be My Cat, a film for Anne. But before we begin, please be sure to like and subscribe. Additionally, please be sure to check out the description for 4Player, our gaming channel. You'll also find our Instagram, Letterboxd, and community Discord, where we can see your suggestions and just have a good time. Alright, now we can go. Be My Cat, a film for Anne. Our film opens up with text claiming the film has been edited from the 25 hours of footage from a crime scene in that place, Romania, in the summer of 2014. We open with a video of this man named Adrian, interesting parallel, saying he wants to make a movie with a woman named Anne. He takes the camera off the tripod and shows us his house. We see his mother and some pictures of himself in his youth. We go to see his attic, which is quite messy, but we hear about his vision. The movie is called Be My Cat. Adrian, however, has been struggling very hard to find an actress until he saw The Dark Knight Rises, and oh fuck, it's not just any Anne, it's Anne Hathaway. Dude, I'm only 5 minutes into this movie, and suddenly, everything has changed. Apparently, Adrian was quite impressed by Anne in the catsuit, which, I mean, yeah, I am too. But he comes off as a little not there. Adrian seems to believe that this movie will convince her to work with him. He has apparently gotten 3 Romanian actresses on board, but he's lied to them about certain things. Things we are not aware of yet. Adrian has rented a pension to film at and has not told them that this movie isn't going to be released. It will simply be what he said, a video meant to convince Anne Hathaway, basically showing her what she can expect on a project with him. He talks himself up and says this is going to be the big one. It'll be grand, luxurious for her comfort, and it will ascend their fame to godlike levels, or whatever the hell he's talking about. I'm gonna say this right now, I hate this room. That shade of pink is not my cup of tea, and I don't know why. Can't trust anyone with walls like that. Bad shit always goes down whenever I see that color. We cut to Adrian meeting his first actress, Sonia, not the one from Mortal Kombat. Adrian has them take their luggage bags to the pension, and we're off to our first scene. Adrian's character is obsessed with an actress played by Sonia. The character is apparently so obsessed that he films the actress while she's walking. We get our shot of the street waiting for the actress as Adrian apologizes to Anne for the drunkards behind him. We get our shot and then cut to Adrian explaining the next shot. He has 2 rules for the scene, that being she cannot let him get more than 1 meter closer to her, and she cannot run. This sounds a bit unfair. We get a couple failed takes and now we have a bit of conflict. Sonia feels the situation is unfair as Adrian keeps scolding and pushing her. He tells her that she's the actress and that she needs to find the solution, but she's still struggling. We get another shot. Sonia tries avoiding him to the best of her ability as Adrian still manages to close the distance. Sonia seems to have given up as Adrian continues insulting her, claiming she is a bad actress. So far, this is kind of the average David Dobrik vlog. Fuck that guy. We cut to a bit later and see apparently a chimney is on fire as Adrian believes this is a result of their creativity, if you say so, pal. I'm gonna say what we're all thinking. I don't like Adrian all that much, or really at all for that matter. We're now shooting a shot where the actress is supposed to reject Adrian's character. Sonia is pretty frustrated with the scene, believing the character has no reason to be this harsh to him. Adrian says just suck it up and try something. hey, who knows? Maybe it's not all that mean, and
I hate you. You are disgusting. You're ugly. You smell like shit.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack.
Alright, well, that seemed a little too close to home. The two go back and forth as the actress, in character supposedly, tells him to leave as the man keeps saying he loves her. She hits him a few times as he says now she loves him. She rebukes this with an I hate you. Things are getting very uncomfortable now as she's hitting him and telling him to leave as he keeps up his invasion of boundaries. Sonia runs off as Adrian follows her, but she says she's calling the police. No, not the band of European dudes watching every breath you make. Things have gotten pretty wild as Adrian tries to stop her. Sonia is basically out of the production now as she's refusing to work with him. Adrian tries to convince her, and oh snap, it's the Fuzz.
It's the Fuzz!
They speak in Romanian before we cut to our next shot at night. Guess the police were absolutely useless. The setup is that Sonia's character is leaving a theater rehearsal where she is met with Adrian's character who abducts her. This sounds very sus. We get a practice run as Adrian seems to have found the correct method and says he will use water to make it more realistic. Girl, you need to run. Like, seriously? What the fuck? We get our final run and, well... yikes. She's pretty much down for the count, and Adrian poses for a little bit. He laughs and explains it was indeed real chloroform. No shit. And he laughs about it and gets them back to the pension. Adrian has her now on the bed and says he has a cat suit for her that he plans on undressing her for the sake of the outfit. The angle changes, and good god do I hate it. Adrian talks to Anne and basically justifies his actions. He's claiming this is all for the art, and that he is an amazing actor, that he deserves her in every way. As a man, as a director, as an actor, you get the idea. Dude is coping like crazy, saying she needs to understand this is what he has to do. We cut to him in bed in the morning, filming himself next to Sonia, showing she's all tied up. She eventually wakes up as he tells her to stay calm. Yeah, he's only holding a knife after chloroforming you and tying you up. What's there to be afraid of? She screams in fear, but no one will help as Adrian told them they're making a movie, so they just think it's acting. Adrian decides to bring out more chloroform, and soon after, she's unable to move. The scene is that Adrian has to kill her for the movie. He views it as a great honor for her, almost as if it's a noble sacrifice. We cut to footage of him strangling her as Adrian explains he's still in character, but is still in shock that she's actually dead. Adrian carries her down the stairs and eventually comes back up. We see her basically stuffed in a corner in the basement, but Adrian is so overwhelmed he gets lost. He eventually finds his way back to his room, talking to Anne through the camera again, saying he needs to make an alibi. See, I fucking told you, never trust a guy with pink walls like that, okay? That is the first sign of a psychopath. Anyway, we're now on the street with Adrian explaining he doesn't like dogs and boys because, as a child, they bullied him. Instead, he likes cats and girls because they're always sweet and cute. Unless you're this cat. Adrian rambles on about killing the woman before suddenly seeing a dead cat on the floor. Guess those 9 lives finally ran out. Adrian explains this movie more, saying the character kills a cat but wants to bring her back as a beautiful woman. Dude, you got the wrong Catwoman. What the fuck, man?
Meow.
We're back in the dreaded pink room, as Adrian claims this movie is going to transform them. They will sacrifice their egos, and thus their souls will be together forever. And as a result, they will free other souls from their ego, making the world a better place. How poetic. Perhaps this is what it's like to be kissed by a rose. We hear him playing a Romanian song he's quite fond of. The song lyrics basically are saying they will not leave until they win their freedom, as the song is a revolutionary one. We get a dance scene rivaling that of Morbius's before it's time to meet our next actress, her name being Flory. Adrian says they're filming everything as it will be used in a documentary about the making of the movie. We are now at a bench as Adrian says she looks different than the pictures he sent to him for the casting call. They're on the side of the road now as Adrian says she's not skinny enough. Flory apparently doesn't like Anne Hathaway, claiming she is a horse person, whatever that means.
Rehab was supposed to be a fresh start.
Flory, however, claims she can act better, but she was more interested in seeing Adrian than filming the movie. Adrian seems confused and eventually concludes that, again, she's not skinny enough in what might rival the last filming session in terms of awkwardness. He drones on about how she lied about her appearances and that he wants her to be interested in the movie instead of him. She still thinks he's a nice guy, I don't know how, as he wants her to stay away from him. Adrian laments how much money he has spent on her before she says the solution is to fuck her. I'm not kidding. Adrian speaks to Anne, hoping she won't be jealous right now, and that he'll deal with her properly. We cut to the next actress arriving on a bus as she meets Adrian and Flory. The new actress reveals the bus driver was quite suspicious of this whole thing, but he has a family member in the police force. She asks if Flory is an Anne Hathaway fan, to which Adrian claims she is. Flory plays along, it seems, as we cut to the basement of the pension. Adrian shows them the bed and begins getting everything all set up as Flory and the lady just sit about awkwardly. Eventually, they decide to wander out of the room before finding some tools on the floor, but we cut to footage of Adrian setting stuff up. There's a sheet set up before Adrian tells Flory to undress so he can tie her down. Once again, not sus in the slightest. You know what? Fair though. Who knows? Maybe she's kinky and thinks he's kinky and... Oh, I hope to God this doesn't end the way I think it will. Flory is tied down as the other actress is sent off so they can film. Flory is confused, but Adrian insists. She is now all tied down as Adrian says he lied about making the movie before he starts talking to Anne again. He explains that Flory will be physically transformed, as he puts it. The white tarp is being used so Anne doesn't have to see anything. Flory still thinks this is a joke as the cutting begins. Flory screams and squirms about while Adrian continues talking to Anne. He eventually plays the song he loves from earlier while she tries to bite her way out of the rope. Adrian threatens her with death if she continues, which we all know she's gonna get anyways. Some blood spatters on the tarp before people come down. Adrian convinces them it's all fake, and now we're back outside with Adrian again. We're kinda just chilling, as one does after a murder, before we hear a song from the lady. We're back in this fucking pink room again, as Adrian explains he has the cat suit ready for this lady, saying she'll be thin this time. He goes down to the basement again, explaining she was chloroformed again. He explains to Anne this will show her his ability to transform the actress and her body once he puts her in the suit. In the process of doing this, Adrian has come to the realization he is the character now. He is now ready to work with Anne on the movie since he has now become the character he wrote for the movie. A couple seconds later, he has now found out that apparently she is dead. Damn, call this dude Benedict Cumberbatch, cause that took some Sherlock skills. Adrian now needs to handle the situation as he leaves, only for Alexandra to arrive and see the shocking sight. She grabs the camera and turns around to see Adrian. Adrian takes a seat as the two get locked in a standoff. Eventually he stands up and tells her to follow and bring the chair. He tells her to set the camera down on the chair and stand in the corner. Adrian picks up the camera and contemplates what to do in this situation. There's plenty of options here for both. Scream, run, scream and run.
Scream and run.
But Alexandra just plays along. Adrian puts the camera down and does a little jingle, as Alexandra tries to convince him to let her go, her argument being she can talk to Anne and convince her to work with him. Adrian calls Cap and gives her 31 minutes to figure out an argument. He keeps playing around before she tries to make a break for it. It fails as Adrian holds the knife to her again, while Alexandra commends his efforts and his devotion to Anne. She tells him to put the knife down so they can talk as artists, to which Adrian talks to Anne again. Says he loves her and her only, but he doesn't want to kill Alexandra. She explains it's great that he loves her, and for that he should go to her in person. Adrian, however, is afraid as he has a fear of leaving his town, remembering how he was bullied and that being around people scares him. The movie is his only way to contact her, and he expects her to make the movie in his house. His mother is apparently next on the chopping block, as Alexandra says he has to make a sacrifice. If he wants this love to succeed, he has to confront his fears and go to Anne. Adrian says there is no convincing him, but Alexandra says if she has to die for his love to last, then so be it. He tells her to go into the closet and stay there. He needs to pack as Alexandra supports him. Adrian says he knows she'll call the police, so if she screams or makes any noise, he'll kill her. That said, she is happy for him, which makes Adrian happy too. She speaks to the camera and says good luck to their love as Adrian thanks her. He fantasizes about having kids with her. Sorry to tell you, man, but you're too late. Adrian thinks he is ready to talk to Anne, and that he doesn't need to make the movie anymore. The camera was his way of speaking to her. Now he feels like she's a real person. Alexandra is given a chance to give her last word to the camera, it being love. This makes Adrian happy before we cut to credits and play Linkin Park. Be My Cat, a film for Anne, was very minimal, but that's what makes it all the more terrifying to watch. Everything here feels almost too real, and that's why I watched this movie with such discomfort. It almost feels like this really was just something one guy made, which, funny enough, it was. Adrian basically did this all by himself with only 3 actresses. In fact, there were plenty of unique decisions made behind the scenes for keeping things authentic. For starters, it was said the majority of the takes were just the first time they ever ran the scene. It was done because it was just more natural this way in the final product. Additionally, there wasn't even really a script. Instead, there was just a list of plot points that needed to happen. Due to this, in order to ensure the safety of the actresses, they used language to communicate in and out of character. On camera, when speaking in English, this was to signify that they were in character, with only a few exceptions being used for when they spoke their native language, like the police scene, for example. An even wilder fun fact is that in the police scene, that was an actual police call being made. It was not done out of genuine fear, but done for the sake of the movie. Those were real police officers, but thankfully they only got a warning for calling without a valid reason once they explained the situation. There's a lot of practicality that was used very intelligently for the movie. At first I was skeptical of why all the characters spoke English in the film, but then I realized, if the film is meant for Anne, then it would have to be in English, since she likely doesn't speak Romanian. This all makes the movie more chilling for it. Even down to the equipment used for filming, this feels real. There's so many shots that look grainy and amateur, which gives the movie the chokingly real feeling it's submerged in. The story also just feels so real too. Considering events like the Bjork stalker, it's not all that insane to view someone doing all of this in real life. If you're unaware, Bjork, as in the Icelandic pop star, was targeted by a stalker. One that recorded videos of himself professing his dedication to her before eventually ending his life on camera. The reason he did so was because he literally mailed a bomb to her, thinking he would be able to unite with her in the afterlife. If this sounds like that one Smiling Friends episode, that's because that's what the entire episode was referencing. And no, we will not be covering those tapes before you ask.
Oh, we were right there, man!
There was a lot of thought put into this movie despite how thin the production quality was. An example being the mentality of Adrian. Throughout the movie, I was waiting for this to just snap and turn into exploitation. Considering the subject material of it being a lonely man, obsessed to an unhealthy degree with an enthralling lady, I was half expecting the first catsuit scene to take a much darker turn. But Adrian, the real one, basically said that he was very against that happening. He believed it would be too obscene and would throw off the audience, but also he felt it wouldn't make sense for Adrian, the fake one. This is because Adrian is in love with Anne, so it wouldn't make sense for him to desire the body of another woman. This was quite refreshing, as not to shit on American cinema, but sometimes it does feel like Western horror thinks obscenity means substance. It was nice to see a film that felt like it had a deeper understanding of not only itself, but also the twisted subject material it was tackling. I think that's what really makes this movie stick out on this tour we're doing. The other movies I think provided heavier imagery that was disturbing, but this movie ditched that for real frights, scares that many people have encountered in real life. Even the simple shot of Adrian standing in the doorway was effective, as it really provided how imposing he was from their perspective. My only real issue with the movie was near the end when Alexandra had many makeshift weapons she could have used. I guess this can be forgiven, as again, he could easily overpower her considering the size differences. But when I saw she had a broom and a whole-ass box to chuck at him, I was basically begging her to start throwing hands. It also did provide us an ending I felt was very interesting. To some degree, yes, it does seem that Alexandra is playing him and just trying to survive, but considering the themes of love, art, and losing yourself in the character, it wouldn't shock me if maybe Alexandra was really hoping for Adrian to find love with Anne by the time the movie ends. Not gonna lie, I'd be very curious to see Anne Hathaway watch this movie, though I can understand why we'll never get that. Aside from the obvious underground nature of this movie, I feel it might also be a much different viewing experience, since I can only imagine what it'd be like knowing someone really made a horror movie about being obsessed with you. My final score for Be My Cat, a film for Anne, is a 9 out of 10. It's got a shoestring budget, but it made that its greatest strength. It's a movie I feel is better watched than seen through an analysis like this. That's mostly because a lot of the terror comes from just how uncomfortable it is to watch all of this due to how real it all feels. I urge all of you to give this one a watch if you can. Well, that was an unexpected adventure, wasn't it? We here at 4Plus are always grateful for the support you guys show us. Our fan base really is like no other, and I cannot believe we have you all around to watch us analyze all this media. You are all amazing, and I wish you all a happy Halloween. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'm hearing some screaming in my apartment building.
Ow! My foot